we're going to dive into really what attracts a woman to a man. And as a woman myself, I can speak very highly of this topic. Many times when we talk about attraction and what women want, every man wants to find a woman that they can either be attracted to, of course, not only on a physical level, but I would only hope that you would want to be attracted to her more on a physical level, but also an emotional and a mental level as well, right? And so many times we think that we need to get her into seduction in order to be with us. We need to seduce her in order to get her to like us. And so that is actually the opposite. Seduction doesn't come first. Attraction comes first. So in today's video, I want to really create and for you guys to understand this because I'm going all in on attraction moving forward. Attraction is something that needs to be taught, especially on a very mature level, I could say, and really understanding the insides and the outsides of attraction and how to get this going for yourself. So let's go into the first one. One of the biggest things that I talk about all the time is the type of mindsets you want to adapt in order to attract women is going to be the first thing. So, in regards to attracting women, I want you to remember number one is you do not have to prove yourself to anyone. Many times, I think, especially in the male community, we go into this, the dating as I need to prove to this woman and I need to do all of these things to get her to like me. And at the end of the day, this takes away the art of attraction from you really truing up and letting her discover things about you. The way that we build attraction with a woman is because we let her discover your excitement for her, right? Many times what we do is we go into attraction and we want to tell the woman, we want to show her that we want her, we want to show her that we're attracted to her. But instead, what would it look like for you to let you're the girl that's in front of you, your woman, discover your excitement about her, right? Think about that. How could she discover that excitement that you hold for her? What we do is we show the excitement on a silver platter. We're like, here, take all of it, right? And instead, we don't casually just go through the dating process, the attraction process. That's why I always say the root of attraction is pacing, right? Pacing is the root of attraction. And so this is where we need to make sure also too that we are not trying to get into relationships based on prove mentality and I'm enough and I'm going to get the girl. So when we get out of that mindset, we're able to adapt to authenticity in our dates and say, let me see what this woman is about. Number two is you're not attracted, obviously, to an outcome, right? You're able to show your intent with a woman, meaning your interest on a level of not being just a friend with her, but your interest in getting to know her, your interest in owning your power, your masculinity. While you're there, you're owning the date, you're calling a date a date, you're discovering questions about her. You guys are interacting in conversations, may lead to banter and some flirting from time to time, but we're not addicted to an outcome. Here's where we go wrong many times is we think that if we are addicted to an outcome, then that's showing intent. Or if I'm showing intent that I'm going to show her I'm outcome based. Well, obviously, when you're on a date, you want to show someone you're interested in them just as much as that person should show you that they might be interested in you. That's why we're going on a date, right? There was some interest that brought me here on this date with you or on this conversation with you. And so we need to take out outcome-based oriented mindset out of intent. Intent is something that you can do with women that you meet at any level. It doesn't give your power away. Many times I've heard men say, well, if I show intent, I'm going to give my power away. I'm going to become needy and blah, blah, blah. No, you're doing it from a place of ownership. And so now I want to go into number three. What values can I offer someone without expectations, right? And so when we lead our dating process with expectations, we're trying to make things work with a careless woman, as you might have said in the comments, right? Or a woman that really is not invested as much as us or not aligned with what we want or too aligned with what we want. And we just want to, get to know her and she's trying to rush it. And then we get into these love bombing relationships, right? And so you have the power to scale your process of dating. You have the power to scale your relationships. This is the power of attraction for men. Many times we're like, oh, why do women don't have to do all the work? Why do women don't have to do anything? All they got to do is show up and they have all these resources. They have all these men. Actually, absolutely not, right? There is something significant when you are able to tap into attraction and do it right. You are able to lead the dating process and be in a masculine control and own that power and significant. And this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go into more tips. Obviously, we're only in number 3, and I have 8 for you today. How many times before stepping into a date have you asked yourself, what value do I offer? Right? What value do I offer? Because what we tend to do on dates is we go on dates saying what value they can bring to our life, right? As if we need their value. So then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we're always getting to this approval-seeking behavior. But what would happen if you just showed up and said, I own the value, I know my value. Let me see if she knows hers too. This is the difference, and this is what separates a man from being intentful in his dating and being able to have options and better options of women that are high quality women that are getting to what he wants than a man that doesn't do this and just takes everything that he can receive and wonders why he feels miserable in these relationships with women, wonders why he's chasing women and doesn't know the difference between chasing and pursuing. And so here's two guys, it's like it is okay to not know this because it's not being taught. It doesn't get taught in school. Attraction doesn't get taught. Relationships don't get taught. Typically, if we don't have from a good relationship in our household, we don't know how to do it. And even when we do, it's still confusing. And that's why I love to do what I do. And that's why the beauty of the internet has able to give us this many resources as well. And so when we are also in this approval seeking behavior, we don't seek the following, and that's the value. So we're not able to lead the masculine process of dating. And then number 4 is you part of the first basis of attraction is having a mindset that's unapologetically honest, which I like to call it. So you're not going to tell a woman like things that are insulting, right? You're not going to disagree with her on a level where it's like you have to be right, but it's about just sharing and owning your opinions about it things and not being scared on how she's going to react to it, but you're just sharing and voicing something that you agree on or you don't agree on, right? Let's say that she's like, oh, I love lamb chops, and you're like, and she's like, you have to love the lamb chops or else you can't be with me, right? You're out to dinner and you're like, well, I'm sorry, looks like I can't be with you because I'm definitely not going to eat a lamb chop, but I love steak, right? And you smile at her, so you're challenging her right back as well. And so this also too can create banter between the two of you, but also to you hold entitlement to your own opinion, and you don't try to navigate hers or you don't try to change hers, but it comes from a power of expansion and it comes from ownership. This is the difference, right? And so in my masterclass, I'm going to give you the 6 principles on how to start allowing yourself to have this mindset, to start adapting this mindset to the women that you date. So, the 5th reason, the 5th tip in regards to these simple attraction tips in regards to attracting women is showing up powerfully in your dating process. Okay. So, showing up powerfully means you know who you are. You know, you're not pretending to be anybody else. You're not trying to say a pickup line that you've heard across the street or in a program that you met. You've literally are being powerfully you, what you want to say, what you want to own. But you can't own yourself if you don't know who you are, right? And so this is where a lot of men struggle with balancing this because they're like, let me act as in this person, let me act like this person, let me act like this specific type of guy, let me act alpha, and then I'm going to be able to get the girl. But either they get the girl and they can't maintain it, or it can't be sustainable, it's not sustainable, or they get other type of women that they don't really find that they can connect with, let's say. So don't hold back on saying what it is that you're doing in life, what you want from life, because you're powerful and you have to focus more than just on the woman in front of you. You have to focus on your life itself. And then the next one, the 6th tip is you have to practice being a good ender, guys. This is a big one because many times what I've seen clients do and guys that I've coached and then come in our group coaching sessions, have come in to my programs, is they don't even know how to be a good ender. They continue to have texting conversations or phone calls, or they're going on a date. There is something significant to a man going on a date. Let's say you're on a 2-hour date with a woman. It's the first date. You guys are making out and she's like, don't go home with me. And you're like, it's okay, I won't, blah, blah, blah. And you're out to dinner. This date is going good because you've invested in the master class with Apollonia on how to attract women, and you use all the tools and it's gotten to you this next level. And now you're like, now I need to be a good ender. Now what happens here is when you're not gonna just instantly end a date when it's going well. It's you're gonna let it go well for a while and then be like, I had a great time, but tomorrow I have to wake up early. I got a work event or I got an early workout or I got things to do, but I would definitely love to do this again. Let's do this again soon. You're ending the date. Okay. Or you're on a phone call with her. You guys have been talking for 30, 45 minutes, and now your gym session is coming due, or you got to cook dinner now. All right. It's been great getting to know you, talking on the phone with you. Can't wait to do it again. Let's meet up soon. Can't wait to see you this weekend. Let's talk again. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon, sweetie, right? Or whatever you want to say. You want to practice being a good ender. What happens here is the balance of power can also lead. You're leading in that way, right? So it's not about, oh, I have to have this power dynamic and play these games. It's literally what I'm talking about is human behavior. What you're doing is you're giving, I want you to think of it like this. You're giving the woman the opportunity to explore your, remember, to explore your excitement about her. Okay. You're giving the woman by doing this the opportunity to explore your excitement about her. Now let's go into the last two tips. Okay. You're patient in the dating process. So many times where I know for myself as a woman, when a man wants to go in all in, it becomes too much. And it makes me think, what is so special about me in the first week that he's known me that he already wants to go all in with me? Like, that's a red flag, right? And it doesn't, women do want to work for something just as much as you do too. It's human behavior, it's human dynamic, right? And so what we want to know is we want to see you be patient with us, because it also shows that, you're not just letting anybody into your home. You're not letting anybody into your house, which is you. You have standards for the women that you date, basically. A woman, especially a high quality woman, does not want to be with a man that can just be with any woman, right? Doesn't want to be with that type of man. Now, next, the last tip in this, and this is about like the 8 simple tips to attract a woman, is understanding emotional regulation. And so a lot of times when we don't have emotional regulation, two things will happen. One, out of nowhere, we just think that, we just blow up for some reason and we're like, what do you mean? That's not true. And it just comes out of nowhere. And she's like, whoa, where did this come from? Right. And then second to this is when we don't have emotional regulation, you're here texting the woman and she's like, hey, I'm running late. I'm so sorry. And you're like, whatever. Or, hey, I'm an hour late, but I can still come. I'm sorry, something happened with my kid, or something happened with school. I'm on my way, I promise. And then you're like, when she sits down on the date and she's like, you look at her and you're like, you must be always late. And in your head, you're thinking, I need to challenge her because she's the one that's being late. But unfortunately, things happen in life. So we need to regulate ourselves through those certain situations. And that type of reaction is because you had an expectation, which I talked about in, I think, tip 3 or 4. But so it's understanding when to be assertive, when to have boundaries and voice them, right? And so many times we'll think, oh, if she's not texting me, she's seeing another guy, she's cheating on me. We get into this anxious attachment style. And when we start really liking someone,